There you go. And then,
Participants. Okay, we've got several.
there you go. So you're gonna admit, oh, you want me to admit
Admit
him?
up and
Yes.
come up, yeah.
Okay, you're ready to go.
Okay, can we talk to them?
They should. Can you folks hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay,
You can?
I can.
All right, thank you
Okay.
so much. We're sorry we're late. We'll get things rolling.
Admit.
Yeah, just keep hitting admit all. Yep, you'll be all set. All right, folks, good luck. Anytime.
thank you, Martin.
Anytime. Have a good night, folks.
Okay, I'll do the minutes. I'll do the minutes.
Okay, appreciate that.
Hello, David. This is Kate Donahue. Can you hear me? And if you can you give me your last name for the minutes?
David Sharfstein.
David, I'm sorry,
Sharfstein.
S.
SCHARFSTEIN.
Okay, Sharpsky. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Helen, I think you're on twice, but I don't know if that makes a difference. There we go.
Someone just has to.
No, you're on twice.
I did once, so. But I hear you now, yeah.
If you're speaking.
Monday for the very first time I didn't hop on.
Dan, I'll turn this sort of towards you.
Yeah, okay.
Went over to
Thought I'd get here nice and early and get all this stuff taken care of.
just wasn't working. Back in Nashville. And then I have been, and then 2 weeks before, which is okay, so you coming along when you still in PG. One meeting where we said we were traveling around, wondering whether it needs certain that conversation. Other places, but not Africa. Oh, you're getting them too? Yeah, you're all going all in. You're falling apart, man. Don't tell them to them. Oh, yeah, you're okay. Yeah. No, I don't know.
We have a written copy of the minutes. You circulated them, right? I didn't make it.
I don't have a written copy.
But you have, there was an email though, right?
Jay was in for the
It
email.
was an email.
Do you know when that was? I'm just trying to.
Yeah, hang on.
August 8th.
August 8th. Okay.
Yeah, they were dated yeah.
Draft minutes. I see your response to those.
Have you ever gone to the Vital Communities housing conference? No. I'll send this to you. I've been going, it's usually pretty good. Speakers are.
August 6th.
August 6th.
Do you want it?
Yeah, if you could quickly email it to me, that'd be great. Yeah.
Well, here.
Oh, you got it there. Okay, great. Thank you.
He emailed them on Friday, August 8th at 9:42.
Okay, all right. I've got them here, though. Thanks, John.
Okay.
All right, we'll open the meeting at 6:43. Sorry for the late miscommunications here. We thought things would be ready to go. The first thing is is there any adjustments to the meeting agenda tonight? Right, hearing none.
So the meeting agenda is, as I understand it, just to make sure, is to review the draft of the
Yeah,
new town plan presented for approval, and
right,
then review the plan approval process and associated timeline.
yeah,
And approve.
Okay.
yeah. So those are agenda items tonight. All right, the first thing up then is approval of the August 6, 2025 minutes. We have them here. I've had some communication from individuals who feel there was some inaccuracies in the minutes. I went back and checked the meeting, and I believe that I think that the minutes as written are incorrect. So I think we should change that.
Dan, can I say something on that?
Yeah,
Because, look, at the August 6th meeting, we do need to adjust the minutes with respect to discussing the need for and the town support of a minute taker or recorder for the planning commission meetings. There was an animated discussion of the roles, purpose, and process at that meeting. And I think there was resultant confusion as to what is and has been requested by the planning commission and how the process itself should work. The reading of the minutes could result in concluding that the select board chair stated a directive as to how the resource would be utilized. I think the minutes reflect accurately what the select board chair said, but I heard this more as an explanation of the select board process and a recommendation that the HPC follow similarly rather than as a directive that the HPC must literally adhere to the select board process. I don't think there's much more to this than a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
For the record, to be clear, the planning commission would be appreciative of a resource to record the minutes of our meetings, written and audio video. Having listened to the select board explain how it uses the resource, I realize there will likely be differences, albeit small, between the select board and the planning commission's process. I don't see this as material. I don't want to change from the process the planning commission has in place, as I see it working well for us. I've also received suggestions that the HPC minutes be briefer and more succinct. Again, I see the minutes as a documentary record. Well, I wouldn't want them to be superfluous. I prefer to err on the side of comprehensive context. The planning commission minutes provide this, and as time passes, this becomes a much richer record that can benefit decision makers in the present. I don't see a need to change our work product.
Yeah, I don't think we have to decide that tonight, John. That is a subject, at least is under discussion, at least from my meetings with other town officials. So all I want to do is just make sure the minutes are accurate about what went on at the last meeting. And I think that the minutes went further than or some assumptions were made. And so the part that there was especially the part that the minutes would go directly to the select board chair I didn't hear anything like that in the meeting.
No, I did hear that. That was absolutely said. And I didn't see it as an absolute. I saw it as open for discussion, right?
Yeah.
That the process works fine for the select board, but not necessarily for the planning commission. That comment was made. It might have been portrayed differently than intended in the minutes, but it was made. It wasn't made up.
All right, I listened to the recording of the meeting and I didn't hear it. I don't know where that leaves us. The one thing I didn't want to have happen was to get bogged down on this tonight because we've got so much more important business to do. My suggestion would be that we could, that if we just put the first sentence of that paragraph, Dan reported he had discussed with select board at their August 4th meeting the need for financial help in taking meeting notes and minutes and help running Zoom, and then cut out until, just cut out everything until the last sentence. After further discussion, the HPC decided not now to accept an outside minute taker, but continue as it had always done unless circumstances change. So that is where I think we left things at the, and I think that's sufficient for the record, but does anybody?
I don't have a problem with doing that.
Want to move to amend the minutes?
Are we?
I think somewhere in there, it should include, whether we're specific or not, that there was a discussion related to your feedback or your communication that came from the select board. I left that meeting under the impression that, yes, we'll continue unless circumstances change, but that it was an open door for further conversation.
Yes, I think that's accurate. And so you.
Continue as always done unless circumstances change.
I don't want to close the door to conversation.
No, I don't, and I don't think the minutes do that, but if we did it this way, I agree with it. And from my discussions, the door is far from closed, so and the minutes shouldn't reflect that it is, so.
I don't see that we have to defer anything. I think we should request the resource.
Right.
It has been in the works for a long time. We should get the resource and we should utilize it.
Right, but that's a different question than just getting the minutes right tonight, so. So would you want to make an amendment to Kate's motion, Steve?
Is Kate's motion that we?
My
accept
suggestion
the
was just the first and
sentence?
last sentences of that paragraph, and then if you had another sentence you wanted to put in the middle, then that would
Where
be.
does the last sentence begin?
After further discussions, the
Okay.
HPC. Because we did do that.
I would amend it then to say, after further discussion, the HPC decided not to now accept, and I suppose that is kind of what I was saying, that it would maybe be a continuing conversation.
Yes, I think the word now there does leave that open, so,
Okay.
and because we didn't decide to take a minute taker right then and there, so I think they'd be accurate if we just did that, so,
I'll second that.
okay.
So to be clear then, we're taking the first sentence of the paragraph and the last sentence of the paragraph.
Right.
And not changing.
Not changing the first or the last
Yeah, no.
sentence, but just omitting the middle sentences.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is we decided not to take the resource then and there because of the perceived stipulations that came with it. And I think they were wrong. I think they were misunderstood. I think there were misunderstandings on both parties' part. I think the resource was offered. I think we said it, we accept it. We didn't want to accept it with conditions. And then things got, confusion entered the discussion. I think we've already said we wanted it and we've been pursuing it for a very long time.
All right, do you have a problem with going forward as the way the motion has them now?
We
I
can,
don't think that reflects what happened.
we can amend those minutes, and then tonight, under old business, for example, we could charge you with continuing the conversation.
Oh, yeah, which I've been doing anyway, so.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
All right.
We want to make sure that continuity takes that.
Does that,
Okay,
all right?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Steve. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries.
But what about John?
I said, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Have to get that in the minutes for this time. We'll argue about it next time. All right, let's move on then to the review of the town plan draft. Did everybody get, did you see what Steve sent out?
Yes.
Today? All right. I have a question, Phil, I don't know if you have the answer to it. The process, if we approve what was distributed tonight, but then let's say we look at it and, or tonight that we want, the copy that everyone has, that everyone got, if we wanted to amend that tonight with just a few words, is that, or do we have to have another meeting to do that?
I really don't know the technicality.
I do know the answer.
Okay.
Okay. We can amend the latest draft that I sent to you today. We can still amend that because we have not voted on this yet. So with that, I can make those changes and say with these changes so incorporated, we can vote on that. My understanding is, once we vote on this, then we're not making any more changes until it's way down the road.
Okay, I wanted to be sure we weren't bound by the most recent.
The most recent draft is simply that. It's a draft that we can edit tonight. And if we are comfortable with the draft as presented and the new edits, and we vote on that document, then we're good.
Okay. All right, do we want to just open up a discussion? I mean, the most recent changes were in the land use sections. And I think hopefully everybody's had a chance to read them. And the long and short of them is that we're trying to open up pretty much the entire town to residential development, but keep the same limits we had on commercial development. And so we were using the language in the town plan, which would enable ordinances if the town so chooses to do that, and we've recommended that elsewhere in the plan. But if not, the feeling was that and I think there was a consensus here that the language should remain strong, because if the ordinances are delayed or don't happen, we would at least we wouldn't want to give up any Act 250 protections that we could gain from the town plan itself. Does that summarize? Is it clear?
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the steps that we tried to do throughout this entire process, especially the last portion of it, is we tried to make sure that we were aligned with the basic structures that Two Rivers would be using as a frame of reference. So we have addressed those particular questions. At the last meeting, we were taking a look at some definitions. I came back with Two Rivers definitions, and you took those and inserted them in chapter 1 as it was appropriate for our desires, and we added a few other qualifiers in there, but it still leaves us within that Two Rivers umbrella.
Right, and we didn't end up using the same terminology that Two Rivers used. We did, our districts conform to or our land use areas conform to what they said, but the language, especially around strip development, wasn't really pertinent because we don't have a town with sidewalks and stores lining the sidewalk and parking lots and people.
And we have removed the
And so
term
anyone,
strip development.
yes, but anyway, yes, so that's why I felt we should leave strip development out, or not have that as the determining factor and actually try to describe the businesses as best we can. So, we've seen the language. Does anybody have any problem with the way it ended up?
No, I think quite frankly, by going through some of those edits, it actually cleared it up. Because the terminology that was used, even though it might not have been the exact same terminology as Two Rivers, it contained the same information that would be within their definition.
Okay.
So I was comfortable with those changes.
Okay. I had some points for discussion, obviously, and I went through it one more time, and so if there's only three,
Okay.
and they're very specific, and I didn't come to any decision, but I think they should be further discussed before we draft the thing. The first one is on, I think, page 17, under land use policies. Find it, and it's number 12 of the policies.
And Phil, the version that you have has been updated a little
Okay.
from the one you have, just so you're not hunting like crazy for it.
Okay, there is a 12 on page 17, so that's not the right.
What was, I'm sorry, go back.
It's where land use policies, it's under the land use policies section,
Yeah,
and I had it on.
Is this the proximity
Yeah,
statement?
yes.
Okay.
That's the paragraph.
Okay.
And the question was should or shall, which we've debated almost endlessly. It ended up being should. I don't know whether, I didn't catch it as a thing. I think if I had, I might have put shall, but I don't feel that strongly about it. And because it's in the land use section, not in any particular area section, I'm not sure it would matter, but it could be pointed to as a inconsistency if we didn't use the word shall.
was that one of the, and I'd have to go back and look, I don't remember. Was that one of the instances that we changed when we were making the assumption or considering the possibility that we would have bylaws and that they would address that particular issue? Are we going back to, we're afraid if we don't get bylaw that we're going to be vulnerable?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the language was that the Two Rivers initial advice from Two Rivers is that we should not have the town plan be too proscriptive, because on the assumption that we would just have, the town was ready for land use policies. I think they came around to thinking that as long as we didn't have anything that would contradict a future land use ordinance, that we could, that it wouldn't be a bad idea to maintain some sort of strength in terms of Act 250, the way Act 250 looks at the town plan under criterion 10.
So
And I just missed that one when I was revising. Yeah, we changed a lot of the shalls to shoulds, and then we changed them back to shall.
Yes, we did.
And Two Rivers said that they were fine with that. I think we just missed that one.
Okay, you would like shall to be,
Yeah, so I would change.
Place of should.
So if we could, if everyone agrees, I would take a motion to change should to shall in that paragraph, in that sentence.
Yeah. I move that we change paragraph 12, the word should, to shall under land use policies in the draft town plan.
Okay. Second,
So
Okay.
John moves,
John moved.
George seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Hey, Dan, when you discussed that matter with them, did they give any guidance on the notion that something wouldn't contradict a possible future provision or bylaw? How are you supposed to know that?
Well, you don't, and I think what the thinking was that if there's an assumption that that if this is adopted, and remember, it's going to be adopted it has to be adopted by the select board. It's going to end up being their document. So if there's whatever they think about bylaws that would go to that, if they think that any of the things contradict that or restrict them, then they could amend them. Or let us know, be at our hearing and say.
Right, because they're not bound by this.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they would be bound if we didn't, if the town plan had restricted it. I didn't see how it would, but I suppose that, it could. So most towns that have ordinances, their town plans don't have shalls because they don't need them for Act 250, because they have ordinances to take care of these things. But in a town that's left with only a town plan to make an assertion on Act 250 about the way the town is developed, we've gotten enough court hearings, decisions now to show us that we have to be very specific in the town plan. It would be moot if we had ordinances, but it's not moot until we have ordinances. So that's where we are. All right, so I had two other ones, and they are on page 21 under rural residential policies. And I'm going to need, so I didn't write it down, and I'm having trouble calling it up.
You want my,
Yeah, if you can show me, I can get it. I took notes. Give you back that. In number 7, it says small offices and home businesses are appropriate in these areas. I think our intention is, again, if we want to have it with some clout in the Act 250, the word only should precede that sentence. Only small offices and home businesses.
I apologize. Where are you again?
I'm on number 7 under rural residential policies on page 21.
Okay. And where would only go?
Begin the sentence with only. Because if you go to the next sentence, we modify that a little bit, but it doesn't make any sense unless you put only on that first one.
Right.
So you'd begin it with only, right?
Pardon me?
Yes.
You'd begin it with the word only, right, Dan?
Yeah, that would be the only change. Just insert the word only.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
and then we went to number 8. I'm holding off on the vote on number 7 because I think it should be considered with the one I have was 8. And in the limited portions of these areas that are directly along Route 5 and 12, appropriate types of businesses, I would insert the words can also include professional offices and service, because we're being a little more liberal there.
Does that work there?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but does that work there?
Yeah, because the last sentence is very emphatic, so.
It is, because it shows.
Yeah, so we were, sort of wishy-washy in the leading up to it. So with those two, I would take a motion if people agree to make those two insertions on,
I so move.
Second.
okay. Any further discussion?
Just to be clear, so 7 is becoming more restrictive and 8 is clawing back some of that restriction for a very limited use in terms of location and type of property.
Yes, and making clear that it's clawing back as opposed to opening up the whole thing to,
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it accomplishes by doing that.
all right, you ready for a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's all I had on the plan. Is anybody, any further discussion generally before we move to approve the version then that we now have?
A couple comments. We had discussed the remainder of the document before, and we had accepted that. We didn't officially vote, but we had talked in the affirmative. There was one other change that was made since that last meeting, and that was as edits took place in chapter 1, any goals that appeared in any of those revisions now appear in the implementation chapter. So the references is there,
Yes.
that is completely gone through there. And then the one aspect that does remain, although we don't need to have it at this moment, is in chapter 7, the emergency services section. It does currently have 2 sentences in it. If any additional information comes forward to be included, it will not be in our draft as it moves forward. If it still is something to be considered, then when it goes to the select board can add it in at that time.
Yep.
So we're not going in and out of a
Well,
document.
and I'm not sure, we can't add it in after our hearing.
That's a possibility.
I'm not sure either way, but I think that was what the thinking was when we
Otherwise.
decided to move forward without those.
Otherwise, the document that we have is ready for a vote, and that,
Right. Is there anyone, let me just solicit public comment now. Is there anything anybody want to weigh in on?
I don't have any comments. I was just looking to see if there was any hands raised, but I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't check.
I will add one thing to this so that we make sure that the procedure is handled correctly. In the intro, the preface area, it does list a specific date that we are going to use for our open hearing. It might be good to have that conversation now so that that date goes in the document that we're voting on, because it's in that document. That make sense?
Yeah.
So can I
Yeah.
deviate just a little? I didn't print this, not for everybody. But just so you're all familiar with the process. We vote on the document tonight. Tomorrow, I will send the draft and the reporting form, which we'll have to discuss in just a second. I will submit all of that information to the appropriate parties and to Two Rivers. At that particular point in time, Two Rivers will take the document. It gets reviewed by Peter Gregory because he's the state designee to review to make sure that we have addressed all the appropriate issues. It will be sent to several state agencies so that they have an opportunity to look at it. And Kate, I can give you this copy here if you want. And that a copy will also be shared with each of the surrounding towns' planning commission chairs. So that will, will all be done in process in the next several weeks. I will also send a copy to the town for updated posting on the website that will be updated from the version you have. And I will also make sure there's a printed copy in the town clerk's office available to anybody who wants to see it. You all will receive an electronic version of the updated version, and I will make sure that the select board and the town manager also get appropriate copies. The timeline we're looking at from now until when we would have an open hearing, we talk frequently about 30-day window and the like. But something has to take place before those 30 days. It has to go through some of these reviews that I just mentioned. It'll have to get warned, all those kinds of things. That process will have to take place, which really moves us toward the latter part of October. And so originally I had suggested the possibility of that Wednesday, the 22nd, as a possibility. It is available on the town calendar, and I have sent a preliminary request that the facility be reserved for us. However, if you think that that date is not good for your calendars, we can look at other dates later, maybe that Thursday or something. But I still think somewhere around the 22nd or 23rd is going to be the best time as far as us having that hearing and then moving out of that hearing. If we need to make any edits, any comments, fine, but then moving it on to the select board. So I have in the document currently, I have that October 22nd date. However, we haven't voted on anything yet, so if we wanted to change that, we could.
Yeah, it was always, in the way it's worded, it seems like it's already happened, but of course,
That is correct.
because that's going to be the final town plan
It says that we
after that
held a
hearing.
hearing
That's
on,
right.
that's correct.
So, John, do you have that date open?
I do, and I'll lock it in right now.
Okay, George?
What was it again?
22nd.
22nd, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It is a Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, good.
All right, so we've got at least
So
a quorum, and I
that-
haven't heard from anyone else that they wouldn't be, so.
So how comfortable is this body with this process and thinking there isn't a possibility that it will just disappear into vapor? Is there, who's going to say that this process of change, which we've talked about and been educated on, is actually going to follow the route that you just stated, or when wintertime comes, it's going to disappear? Because, this is important stuff, but I don't know how I don't understand the process of how you make sure it happens.
I guess my response to that, if you're asking me for
Sure, well, I'm asking everybody, but you're the
Is-
guy that,
yes, I'm comfortable with it.
okay,
I have had a number or many conversations with Two Rivers. I do sit on their board. I have seen this process take place for other towns and successfully go through and be adopted. There are certain state requirements that we are going to be addressing. We have worked in concert with Two Rivers already so that we have, I don't want to be so strong to say we've eliminated, I think we've greatly reduced any surprises, possibility of any surprises. And so, yes, I do feel that what I described to you, as far as going through the process that the planning commission is required to go through, I'm comfortable with that. Passing it on to the select board, they have their process that they would need to follow, which is out of our hands.
And you might not know the answer to this, but what happens if, that the Two Rivers or the state reviews that someone has a problem with it? Where does that leave us? And they communicate that, oh, you have to change this.
Actually, I can't give you a definitive answer on that. I do know that the document, I'm going to use the wrong words, so don't quote me. The document will come back scored, if you will, or the document will come back reviewed to make sure we have addressed all the aspects that are required of a town plan in the state of Vermont. If there was something that we overlooked or did not include, that would be brought to our attention. I can't honestly tell you what the editing process is at that time, but I do believe that, having worked with Two Rivers, that any of those possible omissions have been eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, it's my understanding from Two Rivers that the version that we were working from was already had their suggestions in it.
Correct.
And so we've carried those forward, and to my knowledge, we haven't changed anything that they've suggested, except some of the language. And then we sent, even on that, when we resubmitted it to them, they pretty much approved. So even the changes we made tonight are just tweaking what they've already signed off on.
Right, and they're not going to see something that's just going to surprise them, because we've been in that dialogue with them already. So I guess I'm.
Yeah, well, thank you for addressing what I'm trying to do here, which is to say, well, what's the process? Have a check someplace along the line, at the end of the year or something or other, that all these things that are being done.
Enforcement.
Well, enforcement, or at least alerted.
Yeah.
As
Well, we won't know.
we're educating.
Yeah.
It's really,
Well,
my thought is it's an education thing.
Yeah, I agree. And a town plan doesn't really get used except when it becomes an issue in Act 250 hearings, but it's guidance.
Yeah.
I mean, we say that right in the first sentence of the preface, that it's just our best
I believe that if we had gone solely using the model of the 2017 without any review or comment from Two Rivers, that there would have been a number of items that we might not have had in there that the state had recently, last year or so, required that would be in the town plan. Those are all in there now. So
thanks mostly to Two Rivers.
I feel good about that part of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm more comfortable having had this discussion from those of you.
No, I had the same question.
Those of you who are carrying this ball, and I would sure as hell be disappointed if we got to February and something popped up, and which is influenced by this current or the old problem.
I think that if anything is going to pop up, it'll pop up in the next 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
But things will pop up at the hearing too. I mean,
That's correct, but as far as what we formally need to have
to
in
get to
here
the hearing.
and the criteria and the points we need to address, if for some reason something does surface, then we would know that sooner rather than later.
Okay, and one last comment is that I think it's very important that the select board understands what we are doing on this. And that in a sense, you've got a situation that needed attention, provided it attention. And the select board, I don't know where they get any education, that this happens internally within the two groups, but it seems to me that,
There's been no dialogue at all,
yeah.
But you've attended several of our meetings, and the town manager has, and, we've had back and forth. So.
Correct, and I've done my best to read it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to
with
this.
giving Two Rivers credit is also blaming them a lot for the length of the thing.
I found just a summary that you had done months ago.
Yeah, months ago.
I think if we can sort of have cliff notes a little bit about what are the important pieces to be looking for. That may, again, after your hearing, I think we'll all know a little bit more about what's out there.
Yeah, you'll have to deal with a lot of the stuff that comes out at our hearings.
Yeah, we have one hearing, you have two.
Yeah.
I think that's, so.
But I can put it up there, we have 3 hearings.
Correct.
Yeah, we won't
We
abandon
all
you after our,
together.
it's still sort of our project here.
So if we have agreed on that October 22nd date,
Okay,
Yeah, okay, yes.
okay.
All right, let me see if there's I'm not seeing anybody from the public who wants to comment on this. Nope. All right. Can you see up there? I'm looking, I'm just, my experience here.
John, it's
It's
a screen.
I think it's the same thing I'm looking at here. But just has the people, but yeah, people can raise their hands, but they didn't. All right, are we ready for a vote?
Yes.
So I move that we accept the September 3rd draft of the 2025 town plan, Heartland Town
I
Plan.
second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any?
Aye.
Okay, it carries.
Good.
Oof.
Boy, yeah,
Now,
you're like Columbus spotting land.
all I could think of when George is asking the question is that, and we're all of an age where we realize this, the first time I can remember sitting at a computer and hitting send with something, and you're going, is it getting there? You know, I don't see the facts going or anything like that. That's a different feeling.
Also akin to the email that you shouldn't write, but your
Yes.
fingers are burning.
Oh, I get that, and that's a great lesson. Stop that email.
Stop.
Go back, come back and look at it, edit it and get the heck out of it. Could we look at the planning commission reporting form and see if any of you have any questions?
I have.
We all got it, and again, you said it's mostly was Two Rivers.
I'd say most of them, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the third paragraph, which is IND, industrial discussion. This is just silly English major Kate stuff.
Third paragraph, the
So
industrial
under the
IND
bullet,
area.
yeah, under the
Yeah.
bullet. Just N areas, just N areas.
No, it's review time.
I'm looking. Right here, the industrial,
No, here.
oh, further up.
Nobody's fired.
Hold on. 3, no, here. It's not- N areas.
Mr. Ronald
and area.
continues this approach.
It popped up in two.
Here we go.
It's moving along.
And then VL and VIL are used interchangeably.
Yes, road.
So if you go down,
I don't know.
VL shows up. Village.
Oh, rather
Yeah,
than
yeah.
I.
Okay, see,
He throws a monkey wrench.
and there.
Catch it on the coast.
I think that's,
Yes.
Great, thank you.
So Steve, do you think we need a motion to have you send this to the?
I would like to have this through a motion so that anything I send out we pass. So I move that we, as written, submit the planning commission reporting form for municipal plan amendments.
Thanks, Phil, for everything
Thank you.
tonight. Yeah.
and thanks for getting the emergency key.
Wouldn't have had the meeting without you.
Thank you. Okay, so you move that we submit the planning commission reporting form for, what is it, municipal?
It's the planning commission reporting form. Oh, just a second, please. I'm in the middle of doing something else there. For municipal plan amendments.
Okay. Okay. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, he's raised his hand. I
Okay.
can see. All right, anything else on that, Steve, or related to that?
I'm good to go.
Okay.
The only thing is that I would just give you direction to continue the conversation about that administrative assistance.
Yes,
Do you want me to
yeah.
put that in the form of a motion or just?
No, I
as
could
a
just,
direct?
yeah, I think that's the way we left it with at the end of the
So-
last meeting, we weren't eschewing the position totally, so that's why I wanted to
So
take
we,
that language out
I
of
guess
it.
the other way to say it is that we don't want that conversation to drop.
To stop.
Right.
We want
yeah.
to try to find something that will work.
Yes, and I will report that I've had meetings with the town manager and I've kept that ball in the air.
Thank you.
And it's still in the air as far as I know, so. But it's something we have to resolve in-house here and then.
Let me ask you this, was an offer made? I understood an offer was made to fund the position. That's how I interpreted
Yes, it was,
our
but
conversation.
yes, and so the question is whether that offer will, if we don't, there was also not an expectation, but a desire that we do our minutes in a way that conformed more with the way the select board does their minutes. And we made very clear at our last meeting that we don't want to change the way we do the minutes. I've made that clear to the town manager, and he agrees that that still can be discussed and doesn't end things. So we see.
Well, then tell me this, because I did not hear that as other than a suggestion or a recommendation. I did not hear it as a stipulation or a contingency. So what is it? Because I've written enough notes on this, and I'm pretty damn clear. The offer was made and a recommendation was made. But it wasn't a stipulation. If the offer is made, I see no reason not to accept the offer. If it's coming with a stipulation, then I'd like to know exactly who's making this stipulation, and I'd like to see it in writing.
Yeah, and that's where we have to work out, I think.
I think we just need to have the dialogue to get clarification.
Yeah, I think we can work through that. If we can't, we're just, we'll have to just accept the way things are and but my own opinion is that it can be worked out. And I'll try to continue to do so.
So that implies to me that, in your opinion, it can be worked out and the resources apparently available.
Well, they're not available. We would have to find,
Yeah, they're not available.
no, they don't have a person waiting to take the job.
No, I understand that, but
Yeah.
we have to run on some kind of reality that someplace, there's a possibility that some resources are available.
Oh, yeah.
If this process.
Yes, they gave us a
Yeah,
figure
yeah,
for,
right.
okay.
So
Yeah,
that's the
Yeah,
important.
yeah, and we've got
Otherwise,
to.
Yeah, and that seems much ado about nothing. Those stipulations, they don't make any sense.
Well, John, you might be, I don't disagree with you, but I think we have to stop beating that horse.
I say we just accept it.
No, I'm not saying that. I said that I think there's,
No, I'm saying we should just accept it and move on.
well, there's been movement, and so I think we can work it out. And no one's asking us to change the way or no one will, if they end up insisting that we change the way we do it, I've made clear that that's not going to happen, so.
Different conversation.
Yeah, the idea is more dialogue's needed.
More dialogue, yeah. But I don't think anyone disagrees with your, with the way we feel about it, yeah. So. All right, anything else under old or new business? So what about our next meeting? Where do we go from here? It's almost like
What are we
our
gonna
work
do?
here is done. We can,
Our next meeting,
Oh, what about a party?
yeah,
our
right.
meeting is at
At your house, John.
Wednesday in October.
October 1st.
We will not have anything to do at that meeting relative to the town plan.
It won't be on the agenda, right?
I don't know what else would be on the agenda, and I would pass that back to the two of you to decide if we have enough on the agenda, or if we're just gonna say our next meeting is gonna be the 22nd.
Would we have been hearing anything from Two Rivers?
That's conceivable, so that might be an
Yeah.
opportunity to talk about it.
So why don't we leave it open? Why don't we say that
Yeah.
it's available if we decide later that we don't need it, we'll just, we
That's
won't
a good
warn it
idea.
and that's it. The other thing that could happen is if I have something more to report on the position, we could take that.
Perfectly fine.
That could be on the agenda, and hopefully that would be brief as well. So,
That sounds good.
all right.
Okay. Good.
Any comments from
I dare not.
our audience?
The last man standing.
Yeah.
I'm always impressed and heartened at how few people show up for these meetings and how.
Do you think it's different in other towns?
Yes.
Probably Woodstock would be a little.
Well, mark my words, where you see them come out of the woodwork is at the hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have some-
You know, and then they accuse you of doing it all behind closed doors.
Yeah,
and,
right.
so,
You know, since you asked, I think one of the reasons that an agency or a part of the government, such as the planning commission, gets people's attention is if it's a topic at the select board meeting and people hear it. But the select board meeting is 3 or 4 people, right? We have more than twice as many people as Killington, and Killington gets 20 or 30 people. And the way they do it is they advertise the select board meeting, they say what it's gonna be about. If you wanna know when the select board meeting is and what the agenda is, you have to go to the website. They're not gonna send it to you in the listserv, they're not gonna, there's just no.
well, that's a good point. Besides the listserv, what would you do though to publicize it?
Well, there's other things about Killington that are different. Everybody pretty much lives in one.
Yeah, it's all on one road.
Yeah, one mouth. A word of mouth is really much more powerful there. But you could have things at the store and the post, not the post office. I don't think they let you do that. But mics and all the places where people go, and they might talk about it, right? Have them sign petitions or whatever, just so it gets to be. Because it seems like people do come out of the woodwork, but they come out maybe with a good or bad idea, but nobody's there to hear it.
Yeah, I guess the question would be, let's say if we did a posting, which we don't, we're not required by statutes to do, there are statutory places where we do post at the post office and things, but if we did use Mike's in the Heartland store here, how much detail would you think we should put in the notice?
That was, if it were I, and believe me, I'm no expert, well, yeah.
Well, just speaking for yourself, huh?
Yeah, I do go to a few meetings. Fortunately, I get paid for it. So, I would just, make the agenda clear and kind of, you can make it sound like it's gonna be interesting.
So just additionally post the agenda in those places?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put a stack of agendas,
Certainly no reason we couldn't do that, yeah.
But it's all, my original point is that unless the select board is doing that, and getting people talking about the select board, coming and hearing the select board talking about the various things that the other parts of the government are doing, conservation, planning and energy and so forth, then, these are like, beehives of a different kind of bee that nobody's gonna know about.
Yeah. The select boards, as you know, the select board's agendas are pretty spare too, so.
Yeah, I've been after them.
Yeah.
I'd just like to point out that I was going to say something and then didn't when we collectively, with your leadership, said, okay, the 1st of October, we have a scheduled meeting, and we may not have that meeting unless we find something to do, but you're not going to send out something saying that we aren't going to meet the.
No,
1st
the
of
worst thing
October.
would be to
That
have
would
people
be a
show up for
bad
no
thing.
meeting. That's right.
And I personally would be opposed to that because, then you get people out there saying, well, the planning commission had another meeting that they didn't have.
So maybe we should just be here no matter what.
Yeah. And I've heard that debate raised, by other, committees or something that I've worked on. But I think that's a bad move because that one is a negative which communicates itself,
And what generally they do is they say the meeting's been canceled, and on the bottom of the agenda, so this is our, we intend to have a meeting on October 1st. This is what we're gonna talk about. And then within 48 hours before that meeting, there isn't really any meat on the bone, then you have people say, look, keep an eye on the listserv because if the meeting's canceled, that's how you find out.
Yeah, we can hold off posting an agenda.
Yeah, right. That's
So people don't.
Well, should we are we planning for that then on the 1st?
Tentative.
Because both of those issues that we cited were lesser priority issues than, say, tonight's.
Yes, if you think that they are from the get-go, those are the only two that I can think of that we might, so maybe we can decide now not to do it. Good point.
Do we need any preparation or planning prior to the meeting on the 22nd?
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, if they want to if Two Rivers advises us to have a meeting that they attend with us too.
They're not available that night.
Okay.
That's the Two Rivers board meeting night, but
Oh, okay.
I'll be here.
Okay.
I won't go to that.
Okay. That's the
22nd.
22nd, I'm sorry.
To be open here.
All right.
John, I wouldn't be in flip if I get back to you. I can at least, there were several of us who were here 3-4 years ago when we had an open hearing. The last one we had, when we had the town plan that we went through and then all of a sudden got scrapped. We had, that night, I would guess we probably had 25 people maybe.
We had it upstairs.
We had it here.
Okay. There was one upstairs.
The one upstairs was for,
Sunny meet.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
and there would be some sort of a general introduction to the plan. Maybe as Phil was suggesting, a little bit of that sort of summary to have people at least get a sense of what we focused on. And then we just opened it to questions.
Yeah, that's why I wondered if maybe even just, it could even be a phone meeting. It's not a meeting per se, but it's just making sure that all of us are comfortable.
Well, I think
with-
that'd be something we can do in October, because now I don't remember if we went through chapter 1 and then chapter 2, or do we just take random questions? I'm trying to remember. I remember writing stuff down.
I think we, as I recall it, is that we had each, most of, it- we had,
Oh,
we
each
were
of us
assigned
reported
chapters,
out.
yes, and so
Yes.
it was like, we took turns, like, I was chapter 1, and 9, I think. I pretty much got 9, so I don't have to worry about that one.
But in terms of like Steve said, rather than just take questions, I kind of like that structured approach where questions on chapter 1, questions on chapter 2.
All right,
It
let's
ju-
do that, let's meet on October then, and use that meeting, October 1st.
Okay.
First Wednesday, and use that, and we'll talk about our game plan for and that'll be the major item on the agenda. And then if there's some movement on either of the other things that we talked about, we can put that on the agenda as well.
Can I just ask, would it be useful to meet closer to the 22nd so that anything that may have developed, we'll have that, and also our discussion will be fresher in our minds about how we want to proceed.
I can't argue about fresher on the mind. I would go back to what I think I've been hearing us saying, is that consistency is something that would serve us well. So if we're scheduled for that first Wednesday of the month, then we should meet then, so people don't dance all around the calendar trying to figure out when we're meeting.
Okay.
And if
And
there
I
is,
think we will have feedback
yes,
by that day.
and if there's, we leave, or during that meeting, we said, whoa, we need a little more time, we can schedule another meeting then for the 15th.
Yep. No, I'm good. It's just that, I was thinking, I don't know if I'd call it a performance, but it is a special meeting on the 22nd, and it represents years of work product and effort. And, you just want it to be a first-class presentation.
Yeah.
Or response to questions. That's-
Is Two Rivers going to help us at all on that? Because in past town plans, we've used them and they've been really good. Kevin especially. Go to attend our hearing and actually help us get through the hearing.
That's the dilemma with that date.
Oh,
The meeting, the Two Rivers meeting.
I will talk to Two Rivers in the next couple of days and find out if someone from Two Rivers can be here, or if they need to be here, or if they can give us some insights that we should make sure we do.
I mean, I think that, Jay certainly and I and the rest of us have, because we've been to you weren't on the board then, you were, George. But we've each had the experience of these hearings, so we sort of know what to expect. And if we can get it divvied up, so to speak, at the next meeting.
I think that would be useful, and if we, at that meeting, I'll do my homework on Two Rivers, and I'll be able to report back.
Okay, we'll hire an.
Yeah, because at the very least, even if they couldn't attend, if they could just have a small prep session with us on points that we certainly wanted to make sure were clearly conveyed, or that we absolutely wanted to touch on, maybe in that introductory overview, or how to respond to certain questions, at least having their opinion that we could assimilate into shaping how we may do it. I think that would be quite helpful.
I think they can and should educate us.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the meeting and have them here, and, you know, I think that's a way to advance the situation.
Yep.
The date that was a conflict for them, Two Rivers,
The date we picked to do the hearing, the 22nd,
and they're having a, what then?
it's a board meeting.
No, that's
I just won't go.
that's important. I mean,
But does that involve everybody from Two Rivers, the board meeting?
Yes.
All staff.
All the staff is typically there. Maybe not all the staff, but most of the staff is there. And then 30 commissioners. 30.
Steve, did you look at the two subsequent Wednesdays? You know, the 29th and the first Wednesday of November is potential dates?
Those are potential dates, yes.
No, but I mean, did they seem clean in terms of, were there any impediments to using either one of those dates that you're aware of?
Let me double check. I'll have to go back and look at the calendar, the town calendar.
Because I do think that Kevin would be an interesting resource to have present. I mean, I suppose you could argue that he might say something somewhat at odds with the way we may say it, but because he has in our discussions with him.
29th is also open. That would be.
You thought we're pushing it out too far to,
October's October.
yeah.
I think we're gonna be fine, and maybe if, Brian could be here or something like that.
Yeah.
I will speak to Two Rivers and see what they
See if they
say.
can come on the 1st.
I have that down.
Because that would help, John. The other,
Yeah,
even though Kevin was helpful, the more I'm thinking about it, you get a lot of attendance at these hearings, and we saw it at the Sunnymead hearings too. People just, not involved in the process at all, just, and they want all the answers. And to have a stranger up there
I
that's
agree.
not from town, that they don't know, telling them the way it is, that doesn't always go down that well.
I'm actually looking at just their ears would be helpful if they hear something come up that
Yep.
shouldn't be adjusted. I don't want them needing a meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I agree.
I like that thought. I agree.
I mean, look, come on, we're the planning board, we should be able to handle it, so.
Yep.
All right. All right, if there's nothing further, move to adjourn.
Should or shall?
We really should.
I mean, I move we should.
You see what the
This
attendants
meeting.
do, they give you a hard time. So
Thank goodness you understand the should and shall debate. Jesus. Yes, I move we get that guy.
Any opposed?
Second.
Okay. Thanks, John. I'll let you go and the other people go.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Everybody else.
Night.
Done
Enjoy
already.
your dinner.
Thank you for being a guest.
Oh, it's not a guest. You're the public tonight. Yeah.
Dan, how are you feeling after COVID?
I didn't feel bad during it. I
Yeah.
tested positive.
Yeah.
I just had a really slight thing, and then
Yeah.
this morning, negative, and just before I said, well, I'm gonna test again.
Well, it's great to see you, thank heaven.
Yeah,
We're glad
I didn't want to go last night because didn't have a negative test
Uh-huh.
before that, so
We're glad you made
So
it.
you
But
were.
wasn't much to do
symptomatic
last
for how
night.
long?
Huh?
How long were you symptomatic?
3 days.
3 days?
Yeah. But it was just lightheadedness.
Yeah.
Probably. But the first time I had it, last year, I had like the worst sore throat I ever had. But there was none of that. All right, let's see
We
here.
don't need a CDC, do we?
Yeah, that's horrible.
We have adjourned.
See you guys.
There are a bunch
All
of
right, bye, John, I'm gonna mute you.
nothings going down there. Oh, it's scary.
And not only that, but the person who is the leader of that no nothing convention, that his sister and other people, said to us,